said, hey man, look, I've seen enough. Why go with that stiffer clutch? What's up guys, welcome back to another episode on Proven Power Cycles. For those who don't know me, my name is Eric, and the fellas right now, well, everyone's kind of on a break. So I wanted to do a quick intro to this. I'm getting ready to leave for my surgery. I'm getting ready to have surgery on my clavicle. And Lewis is gonna take over for a little bit, but basically we got a ZX-14r in a 2018. Now, this particular bike, it is by a gentleman who has been watching our channel and interacting with our channel for some time now. And he brought in his bike. He said, hey man, look, I've seen enough. I've been waiting for this moment. I want you guys to install my exhaust. I want you guys to do basically all the modifications that we're gonna do and flash and tune, do the dyno tune on the bike. So we are swapping out the clutch, doing a full Brox exhaust install, and we are, I think that's about it, honestly. And we're gonna clean up his chain and sprocket. There's gonna be a few little things that we're gonna do for him here before we throw it on the dyno to do the tune rather. So long story short, we're not gonna baseline this bike just due to the time constraints. We have to kind of rush through this per se. A, because he wants the bike back fairly quickly, and B, because I'm going out on surgery and I'm not gonna really be able to use the dyno too much. So it's gonna be a little bit of a healing process in between then. So we're trying to speed this up along. I don't really have time and I can't really throw it on the dyno right now. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna baseline it with the Brox exhaust, and then we'll just do the full dyno tune after that. So right now he's got a Krapovich slip-ons and a stock header. And again, I kind of wish we would have done the baseline, but again, it is what it is. This is kind of outside my normal process for those of you guys watching the channel for the first time. Normally we always baseline the bikes when they first come in, but given the circumstances, I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna pass on that. So I'm gonna let Lewis kind of walk you through some of that, show you some of that, and then when I get back, we'll show you guys kind of the final process and the end process of it all right? So Lewis, take it away.
All right guys, as Eric demonstrated, he's out for his surgery. So I'm here to kind of like guide you guys through on what's going on with the bike so far. As you can see, exhaust is missing, completely off. We are doing oiling mods, full Brox exhaust, and a clutch mod. So in order to do the oiling mods, obviously got to pull the exhaust off to pull the oil pan off to get to the oil relief valve. I'm going to have to pull the clutch out completely to get to the oil pump housing, and then obviously replace the clutch with the track-cane clutch and the I think we are doing an APE clutch mod on this. But just kind of giving you guys a little bit of a update here, and I'll get back to it again as soon as I have everything apart. Got the clutch completely pulled out. Here's the basket and everything. I like to reassemble everything as it's out just so nothing gets misplaced. Got the oil pan off. Excuse the mess and the leakiness. There's just a little bit of oil in there. Alright, so this is going to be your OEM oil pump cover. Very thin. I want to say Eric's gone through this before and shown you guys that this is actually really thin. Alright, these warp under pressure. I guess heat and pressure, I guess it is. Now when you're doing this, I don't know, just kind of like a heads up if I can get it off here. Yeah. Alright. So, if you're ever doing this, alright, at home, this washer needs to go on your new billet plate. Alright, that is very important. These are your new plates. Nice and thick. See how it's a lot thicker than the OEM one, so it will not flex under pressure. Here's your OEM one. Here's the aftermarket one. So that's the oil pressure, or not the oil pressure, that is the oil pump cover. And this is going to be your pressure relief valve. Aftermarket one, just a little bit of higher pressure. Goes in here. Unscrew it. I like to use red Loctite to make sure it's in there nice and tight. I would always use red Loctite and re-torque that down to OEM spec. And same with these bolts. I wouldn't use red Loctite. They recommend using blue, but same. Blue Loctite, OEM torque spec. Red Loctite, OEM torque spec. Bolt everything back up, and she's good to go.
All right, guys. So we have we got the final little modification wrapping up here. Kyle's got it wrapping up. we have the clutch springs, I should say. The Brock's clutch springs are going in right now. So Kyle is wrapping that all up. After this, he's gonna go ahead and throw this clutch cover on and get that all torqued down. And then after that, this thing, we're gonna dress old Humpty Dumpty and get it on the dyno. This thing should be singing by the end of the week here. Like I said, our ultimate goal here is gonna be it's gonna be right around the 200 horsepower mark to the wheel, guys. I've had that question asked quite a bit now. How do we measure on the dyno if we're measuring engine horsepower or to the wheel? The answer is we measure to the wheel. That is a very common question we get. And you know, if you're measuring to the engine, or they call it BHP or crank horsepower, that's usually the horsepower rating that you see in like the magazines or the write-ups. And it's usually going to be to the crank or engine horsepower. It's not taking into effect the drivetrain loss. Most of the time, this number kind of varies, but most of the time it's roughly about 13% that you get on drivetrain loss, okay? So between the chain, the sprockets, the axle, you know, the wheel, the tire, all of that jazz, you get roughly a 13% drivetrain loss. Obviously that varies depending on the mods that you have done and the weight of the wheel, the weight of the tire, all of that stuff plays into account. So the less rotational mass that you are dealing with and the freer that chain can spin, that wheel can spin, the less load you have on the engine, therefore the less power loss you're gonna have through the driveline, okay, or through the drivetrain. So keep that in your mind. That's kind of why like the 520 kits, the QX, the NX ring chains, that's why a lot of those are the 520 conversions. That's why people will pick up power doing those mods, is because you're lightening up that rotational mass, okay? And it's less friction on the engine. So, but with that, like I said, we're gonna let it, man, this bike is coming along great. It looks phenomenal. Kyle did a great job wiping this thing down. It's coming together really, really nice. This bike looks a million times better than when it came in. I'm very, very proud of this one. Very happy with the guys, man. They've been crushing it. Lewis has been working on this bike as well. Kyle's chipped in. Obviously, we have several projects going on around the shop, so the guys are kind of all bouncing around, trying to knock everything out as parts are coming in. But comment down below, guys. Tell me what you think of this color combo. It's killer. I'm a big fan of the gray and the orange and the black. To be honest with you, when the 2018 model came out, I really wanted a set of these plastics. I wanted to convert mine because I have a 2015. I got the satin black with the green. I really wanted to convert mine to this gray and orange one when I saw it. I thought it was killer. Then I think it's the 23 models that came out with the gray and the green and the black, and I fell in love all over again. But I'm a big fan of that Nardo gray, the blacks, you know, and the orange. They all the bikes, a lot of these guys, Suzuki, Kawa, Yamaha, they always have like a really cool color combo with a lot of these bikes. But tell me down below what you guys think about the 2018 model. Tell me what you guys think it's going to make. I'm kind of curious. It's going to be tuned on 93 pump. It's nothing fancy. The client here had brought up a really good question that, quite honestly, I don't know. I mean, I figured it'd probably be a common question for you guys too. So we answered it for him. And I said, hey, that was a really good question. Let me go ahead and like put this in the YouTube video for everybody. So we're going to go ahead and slip this in here. But so he asked, why are we upgrading the clutch? He said, what is up with the clutch springs? Why go with that stiffer clutch? And just gonna go right into it. So basically, how it works is this. Let me set down my camera so I can kind of show you guys, like, in a way that the best way I can do it, because I don't know how else to do it. So basically, how the clutch works on these bikes is when you pull the clutch lever in, right? There's a big shaft that runs through the bike, okay? It goes from the left side of the bike to the right side, okay? The slave cylinder's on the left-hand side, and when you squeeze that lever, it pushes on that shaft, okay? That shaft then pushes on the pressure plate this way. When it presses on that pressure plate, Lewis is over here being a clown. When it presses on that pressure plate, what it's doing is it's pushing it like this, and it relieves all the clutch plates, okay? So then the clutch plates are loose. They're not like spinning on each other, right? You got a little gap in between them. It's usually a couple millimeters worth of gap, okay? So when it does that, it relieves the pressure, so that way you can shift the gear, right? Go into first gear, go to second gear, whatever. It frees up the clutch, okay? Now, when you let off of the clutch and you let off of the lever and you're slipping it out, right? What happens is the pressure plate closes back on it, and it actually pushes pressure back onto the clutch plates and it squeezes them together, okay? And then now they are basically spinning in unison, right? They're pushed together. So what those springs are actually doing is they're applying more pressure. The upgraded springs, they apply more pressure to those plates to squish them together even harder, okay? So it's doing this by on the pressure plate. So it's applying that pressure between the inner hub and the pressure plate, and it's basically squishing that pressure plate down harder. So it's it's applying from the pressure plate, it's applying more pressure to the clutch so that it pushes tighter. So when you guys are making more horsepower on these bikes and you increase your horsepower, you need to upgrade the clutch simultaneously. Just like as if it was a car, you need to upgrade those springs so that it applies more pressure to that clutch, so that we're not going to be burning up this clutch on the dyno. More or less, that's in a just kind of how it works with clutch springs. And you know, we can go into the lockup clutches, we can go into all this stuff too. But anyway, I just figured it was something really cool to go over. We'll do that. So we'll get a couple of clutches set up for you guys. We'll do the video completely on clutches, and what we'll do is we'll set up a hand clutch with the different spring pressures. We'll set up a lockup, a 2-stage lockup, and then a multi-stage lockup, and then even a slider. Hell, for that matter, we can do a slider clutch. So and we can kind of do high-level stuff. All right. We'll just kind of go in brief on it. But anyway, comment down below if you guys are interested in something like that, please. Let us know if you are interested in that. And if you are interested in any kind of clutch setups for your bike, give us a call, 813-908-3278, 813-908-3278, or call or hit us up on our website on www.provenpowercycles.com. Again, it's just provenpowercycles.com. And you can send an inquiry through there if you guys are interested on any of these upgrades, the oiling mods, the clutch mods, the exhaust, anything, the built motors, whatever you guys are interested in. Give us a call or shoot us an email if you guys are interested in that. So, but yeah, hopefully I answered some of your guys' questions if you guys are interested and curious about the clutch mods. Hopefully we answered some questions for you guys. So I'm glad he asked that question, because I was like, oh shit, I never even thought to answer that question before, or explain it. So I'm really glad he asked that question. So anyway, let's move on. We're gonna get this thing ready for the dyno now, and let's go over there and start doing some dynoing. Got it all wrapped up. We got it ready for the dyno. We got oil mods, clutch mods, and full exhaust. And we're gonna go ahead and, dang, I love this look. It looks so good. But we're gonna go ahead, get this thing off, get it to the dyno. We're kind of running out of time today, and to get it on the dyno, it's getting later in the day here, so still got to tune it. And we also are going to swap the tires out. So we bought a new set of Road 6 tires, so we're gonna go ahead and get those tires swapped out. Now, normally I would swap these tires out before the dyno, but honestly, he's got enough life in this. It's stock wheelbase. It'll be okay for a handful of pulls. He'll be fine. So mainly what we want to save that rear tire. We want to make sure that we have him a brand new rear tire on his way out. So when he gets on the dyno, we're going to go ahead and wipe up the chain and sprocket. We'll wipe all this down. We'll wipe down the wheel. It's obviously got some grunge here, so we're going to go ahead and do him a favor and clean this all up. He's got some, obviously some crud all built up here, but again, I definitely pride myself on going the extra mile here on a lot of these things. So we'll get this all cleaned up for him. So we got the rest of the bike wiped down. It's looking beautiful, especially the way it was coming in. He had a bunch of kind of gunk all on this thing, so he took care of it all for him. But anyway, let me get this thing off the dyno. Let's get it loaded up, and let's see what she's gonna make. ZX-14r on the dyno. We got the tune kind of wrapped up here. We're kind of doing the last little bit. We're gonna do some final pulls on it. Thing looks killer all dressed up. Look at this thing, looking sexy. Oh, looking sexy on the dyno. I don't know how I feel about the red badge. I don't know how I feel about that. I think he should have gone with the black and silver one. I'll let him know. If anything, we can always swap that out. But all in all, the bike looks killer. The stance looks killer. Everything on this thing looks absolutely flawless. So we're gonna go ahead and get this thing fired up, get it warmed up, and do some final pulls. Here we go. All right, guys, so we got the this 14 all wrapped up. It's raining outside, so kind of really crappy weather conditions right now for the dyno, but it is what it is. Bike still did really, really good. Yeah, I mean, there's really not much else to say. I mean, the bike is a beautiful bike, and you know, like I've already said it, I love this color combo. It's one of my favorites, but let's go over the final numbers really quickly here. So when he came in, the bike made 196.84 with 106 torque. Not bad considering that the flash that he had was not for this setup. Now if you look at, now again, the flash that he had was not for the setup. It was not for a full exhaust system, or at least it shouldn't have been, because it had a dual slip-on. Remember, the dual Akrapovic slip-on. So running very, very rich before. So the blue is the previous, okay? So very, very rich down low going into this upper RPM range, 11.9, real fat. 11.8, 11.8, 12.2, very, very fat, very rich for low end power. 12.5 going up into the mid range, and then up top it actually doesn't do too shabby. And that's why up top here it's very close on horsepower. So very, very close, not bad at all, but obviously with a custom dyno tune and a full exhaust and all the things, it's gonna do much better. So picked up very good power throughout the mid-range here, picked up very good power, well not very good, but picked up decent power up top, being able to play with the numbers. Another thing is they had it revved out to the moon before. On a stock valve train 14R, they had it revving out to 11,800 RPM. That is substantially high, not what I would recommend on a stock valve train. Normally, my rule of thumb, 11,500 is like the max that I'll ever go on a stock valve train, ZX-14R. And that's if they're drag racing it and if they're adamant about like, hey, I want it at 11.5. Normally, I'm around 11.2, 11.3. That's kind of the max I'll go. Just for safety's sake, again, on a stock valve train, stock springs, I don't really like pushing them too hard. Because you never know. You never know they're going to drop a valve. We haven't had that issue ever occur here, but then again, I've never pushed them to 11.8 on a stock valve train. I don't really want to find out what that number is. It's not really what I want to do with people's bikes and their babies. It's 14R is an expensive motor. Who knows? Maybe if we nail it big one day on YouTube, we'll test that for you guys, and we'll keep bumping up the rev limiter and see where a stock motor will blow up at. But for right now, I ain't doing it. So, but with that, like we said, he came in at 196.84 with 106 pound-foot of torque. Ended up at 202.52 horsepower and 113. And for those guys at home watching this, we measure to the wheel, not to the crank. This is all wheel horsepower, okay? Wheel horsepower and wheel torque. This is not to the crank, not BHP, not engine horsepower. This is rear wheel horsepower, okay? Air fuel, super clean, all the way across, beautiful. So with that, we wanted to go ahead and say thank you guys. We appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. If you could, drop a comment down below. Share the video, like the video, subscribe to the channel, you know, show your support. It means the world to us showing your support. It goes a long way in making these videos, and we want to make a lot more for you guys, and we want to show you guys a little bit more, pushing a little bit more to the limits. We got some really cool builds going on here at the shop. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't want to rattle on too much, so we love you guys. We'll see you on another episode.